Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to another session of the ISM Lunch and Learn webinars. Today we are looking at increasing efficiency in your standard Sage 100. Our presenter today is Ms. Erin Oldaker. She's our out of San Diego, a consultant with ISM. So with all of that, I'm going to turn it over to Erin. Erin, welcome and thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. So today we're going to look at increasing efficiency. And to do that, we're going to take a look at a few topics. We're going to look at streamlining data entry, reducing duplication, and automating communication. Within streamlining our data entry, we're going to look at my tasks, some custom lookups, general journal entries, accounts payable invoice data entry, and accounts receivable invoice data entry. To reduce duplication, we're going to look at sales order data entry, purchase order data entry, and some purchase order auto generation. And with automating communication with Paperless Office, we're going to take a look at sending order confirmations, invoices, and AR statements to our customers, and sending purchase orders to our vendors. And let's go into Sage 100. So first I'm going to show you about my tasks. As you may or may not know, you have the ability to drag and drop tasks up to this toolbar up here, and you can put as many as you can fit up in this toolbar. Now, you may run out of room pretty quickly here. There is another place that you can do this. So if you look over here, you have tasks and you have my tasks. If you click on that my tasks tab, you have the ability to create public or private folders so everyone can see, or just yourself. You can rename those. Let's say report. And you have the ability to also drag and drop as many tasks as you need to into these folders. And as you can see, I've created a month end, so I've pulled in AP, AR, and GL period and processing. You also have the ability to pull in Excel, Word, or any other, or PDF shortcuts you can pull in. So this is really helpful if you're always looking at Excel worksheets going along with certain processes. And you can create as many folders as you can fit in here. I've seen clients actually not use this tasks any longer and just create their own trees within the My Tasks. So in addition to My Tasks, we can also take a look at some custom lookups. So if you're constantly looking up the same things in the same way, creating a custom lookup will definitely decrease the keystrokes to look up a list. I'm going to jump into customer maintenance. And anywhere that you see this magnifying glass, you have the ability to create a custom lookup. So here we have our standard customer lookup. Down here on the bottom left-hand corner, it's the custom button. If you click on that, you have a wizard that you can walk through. And here you can create a description. You can make it default view or not a default view. And over here on the left-hand side, these are all the fields that you have available to you to pull over. So not only do you have the fields in the customer table, but you have the ability to pull in fields from other tables as well, possibly. On the right-hand side, these are all of the fields that are going to show up in your custom lookup list. And you have the ability to move these up or down based on how you want them displayed. So let's say I want to see city, state as well. You can move these up and down. You also have the ability to put in a filter. And this can be helpful, let's say, in sales order entry. If you have a bunch of sales reps and they each want to see just their specific sales orders, you can go through and create a filter so that they can only see their sales orders. I've seen that work many times. At the very end, you have the ability to create a default search column. So rather than it always pulling up under customer number, vendor number, that type of thing, you can put it to name. And then also default search options, I always like to say contains because it will pull out the information. And finish. And so here is our customer lookup list. I've even seen clients use this as a reporting tool where they pull in all the fields that they're looking for and then easily export them out into Excel. So down here on the bottom right-hand corner is an export to Excel option. And if you look at this, here's your standard list, and anything with an asterisk, that's your default customer or your default list within the custom lookup. So next I want to share general journal entries. So anytime you're continually using over and over each month, rather than hand entering them in, you can use a template to recall that same journal entry again and again. So let's go into general journal, whoops, not account maintenance, general journal entry, and let's create a general, and 5/31 works for our date, and we're going to do, let's say, insurance monthly distribution. And let's say we're pulling money out of the insurance and we're going to distribute it across the different departmental expenses. So for Department 10, we're going to say $50. Oops. For Department 30, let's say $50 and our last department, 25. And if you go over here to the right-hand side, there's a Save Standard button. So we want to click on Save Standard, and here we can name our specific standard journal entry that we want to save. And we can save comments along with that. And now we've saved it. And you can post this if you'd like. So now let's say that it's next month, and we want to pull up that journal entry. Let's just say we're pulling it up. And here we can pull up, whoops, not that one. We want to do a copy from. So here you can do copy from standard journal, and we can pull up that insurance distribution journal entry that we saved. And as you can see, it pulls in all the account numbers. It doesn't pull in the amounts. This is where we can manually enter them again if the amounts have changed, or if they haven't changed, we can re-enter them. So it's really going to save us some time by not having to re-enter all of the distribution. This is really good for wages accrual, some prepaid property taxes, or reclassification or accruals for month end. So another way to streamline your processes is going to be in AP. In AP, if you go under Setup and AP Options, and you have to do this when everyone's out of AP, you go to the Entry tab, and there is an Enable an Expense Distribution table. So we just want to enable the expense distribution. And then down here under Setup, there's an Expense Distribution Table Maintenance. Now with this, we can distribute according to a percentage. So let's say we're going to do a telephone bill. And we want to spread it across all departments or all divisions. And 20%. Okay. So you determine what the percentages are going to be, and you save this out. Whoops, less than. Whoops, we need 21%. Sorry about that. Let's see, and let's just change this one. There we go. We're 100%. Perfect. Okay. So now if we go into create an accounts payable invoice, and we'll pull in the invoice amount. Let's say it's $1,000. Usually this opens up. Hold on, let's go back and see. Cancel, no. Whoops. See if it saves that expense distribution table. Let's try that again. Well, it's not working for me today, but usually this opens up here, this expense distribution table, and you have the ability, it actually breaks it apart for you by percentage, by dollar amount. So it pulls in all of the different accounts that you use, and it distributes it evenly amongst the percentages. And if you're not going to do it by percentage, if you always have a dollar amount that you need to use, it pulls in the account, so at least you can go in and you can change it at a later time. So next I want to talk about AR. So we have the ability to enter invoices that repeat, like monthly fees, maintenance, warranties, or rent that you have to send invoices out to, etc. Then you don't have to re-enter them over and over again each month. So let me show you. There's repetitive invoice entry. And if you look at repetitive invoice entry, it's different than the invoice data entry. As you can see, repetitive invoice data entry has a reference field, and it also has a cycle field that we can add in the cycle. So here we're going to reference, you can use alphanumeric or you can use numbers. Okay, and you can enter in a customer PO. If you don't have a customer PO, you can use this as an internal field if you would like. So let's say, and it's going to be monthly. You can do this monthly, quarterly, yearly, daily, however you want to distribute it out. Billing, let's say it starts on June 30th, 2020. We're a little into the future here, and it ends, let's say, at the end of the year. Next, we go to the line tab, and we enter in, let's do maintenance. And now we can go into repetitive invoice selection, and this is where we can type in, this is where we can choose our invoice date, our selection date, and then this is where we can choose our cycle. So if it's monthly, yearly, quarterly, this is where we would type that in. Or you can choose by a customer range or even that reference number if you know that off the top of your head. So you click proceed, and it will create the it'll create the invoice. We can always go into invoice data entry. Looks like I have did not pull it in. Let's try that one more time. Repetitive invoice selection. Batch number 8. Won't remember that. Proceed. And so then you would just post it normally as you would post an invoice data entry. Okay, so let's say, let's talk about streamlining some processes in our sales order entry process. So let's say a customer comes to you and wants to buy 1,000 widgets, let's say, but they don't want to take delivery all at once. You can create a master order where you can then pull in this master order to create an SO or a sales order. So let's create a master order here. And let's say they're going to order $1,000 of these. Then we can go and save that master order out, and then at a later date we can come in here, create a standard order, and then we can go out and find that master order that we've created and pull that in. And here we can change it and say, okay, we only want to take delivery for 50 of those. And you can whittle away at the order, the master order as you go. You also have the ability to create repeating orders. So here's a repeating order, and you can select a cycle code, or if you don't need it, if it's not on a regular basis, you don't need to fill that section out. You can create a repeating order with, let's say, we order 20 of these, 20 of these, and we always order 50 of these. You can accept that, and then we can always go back out and create a standard order and pull in that repeating order. So it goes by R and M. So I have a few master and repeating orders already out there, but I made this one today. So let's do that one. Check the quantities. We can always change them if we need to, and we can go in and we can post this like we regularly do. And we don't need to take a look at that. Okay, so the beauty of these is they don't affect inventory. So it's just the template for you to use to reduce your data entry. There's a similar process in purchase order. If you're ordering the same thing regularly from your customers, you can go into purchase order, data entry, and it's the same idea. You have the ability to create a repeating order or a master order for your vendors. In purchase order process, you can also do a auto-generate from sales order. Cancel. You can do an auto-generate from sales order or an auto-reorder selection. If you have a lot of sales orders that you're sitting on, but you want to make sure that you have enough inventory on hand, you can come in here to auto-generate from sales orders. You can choose what type, if it's standard, quotes, if it's master and repeating, so we'll just do standard. You can select the statuses, if it's open or if it's orders that may be on hold because you don't have the inventory yet. And then what type of goods, if you just want finished goods or if you also want the raw materials, and then what types of items to generate. And here you can base your quantity on either only the quantity required or the reorder quantity by warehouse. So you can set reorder points, which I'll show you in a second, based on items. You can also do a sales order quantity, so just-in-time amount. So let's say we're going to do a just-in-time. Proceed, and it should create a report for us. which then we can go in and we can check to see which items we need to order, what's on PO, what's on sales order, and what we should possibly order. So that's a pretty cool report that you can take a look at and reorder. And you can generate the orders from here, or if you want to just do them manually, you can select no. So let's take a look at reorder points. Let's take a look at those reorder points also. Under inventory management, I highly recommend setting these reorder points in item maintenance, especially on stuff that you move frequently. These reorder points pretty much talk to that purchase order functionality as you saw. So let's look at this item. Under more, you can look at reorder. And here you have the ability to enter in reorder points, minimum order quantity, so that you're able to auto-generate those purchase orders. So if there's a minimum amount of 40 and the reorder point is 40, you can create that purchase order automatically for it. And I really highly recommend entering these in, especially on those fast-moving items. So next, let's talk about Paperless Office. So Paperless Office isn't just about saving those registers and journals. You also have the ability to send out sales invoices and purchase orders, that type of thing. If we go into Paperless Office under Setup, we want to make sure first that the forms, enable electronic delivery for forms is marked yes. Then we go into this forms maintenance, and we want to make sure that, see what we have here, that it's set for POs or SO order. So you create that. You put who the from email address is going to be coming from. I would recommend setting up like an accounting at goism.com, not a specific person, so they don't get bombarded with emails in response. And then also a PDF directory to save those forms out to. You can also set up electronic delivery message. So here we have the ability to create messages for each of the different forms that you're sending out. So let's say we're going to look at our vendor forms for purchase order. So this is like a mail merge function where you have the ability to enter in information but also enter in a mail merge. These are all of the different fields that you have available to you. So here we have purchase order and then the document number 123, let's say, vendor number, vendor name attached, please find order number 123 placed on June 30th, 2020. Question regarding this order, please call, etc., etc. Thank you, your purchasing department. And so you can customize these based on each of the different forms that you're going to send out. Now you also want to make sure that when you send out, before you send out anything, you have to make sure that it's enabled. So here you want to make sure that there's an email address in this email address function, or make sure that your contacts, that you have a contact out there set up. So I would recommend, rather than setting them up by name, possibly setting it up by the position that they're in. So I would set up buyer, Sherry Smith, and then enter their information here. Next, you want to go to this Paperless button, and you have to enable this for each of the vendors, each of the customers that are going to need it. Here you want to enable email, and you can say print and email or just email. I would recommend doing one or the other, so you're not having it print and also email at the same time. I'm not sure which ones were emailed and which ones were printed, or which ones you need to send out that were printed. And then you can go into your purchase orders, and let's say we're going to send out, let's see what orders we have out there. Okay, and we want to print this. And here you have enabled this Paperless Office output. And here's where you can choose, once you have all of the different POs or sales orders that you want to send out or AR statements, you come here and you say, I want to print all of them, or I want to electronically deliver only. So only the customers or the vendors that have it set up, it's going to send out for. You can say print and PDF all and electronic delivery, or you can say PDF or electronic delivery. So that's where that print or email option comes into play. And this, let's say we're going to, and I don't have it set up. You'll get this error if you don't have it. I didn't set up the email. Let me show you where that's set up to. You'll probably need to ask your IT department. It's under company maintenance. Under the specific company code, you have this email icon, and here's where you would fill out your email address for it's smtp at goism.com or whatever your company name is. That's where you would fill out this information. So you would need to fill this out first before you can start emailing out stuff. And so that's pretty much all for increasing efficiency in Sage 100. Does anybody have any questions for me? You can type them in the chat window, or you can. I don't believe you're all on hold or on mute, so you can ask them out loud if you'd like.
Sherry, I have a question. This is Marlene. On the repeating orders, like when you do that, can you like change like the ship to? I know you can change like the quantity and stuff, but is it fine to do repeating orders and change like the ship to on like seller entry?
Yeah, you can change any of that information in invoice data entry. After you've chosen the repeating entry, you have the ability to go, after you've done the repetitive invoice selection, you have the ability to then go into invoice data entry and make changes to any of that as you choose.
Okay, this would actually be like sales order entry. Like on new orders.
Sales orders? Same thing. Yeah, okay, you have the ability to change any of that information.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Is there any way for vendors set up what to set up multiple remit to in one vendor? That's a question we got from Esther. Is there any way for vendors set up what to set up multiple remit to in one vendor? I'm not sure what you mean by this. Maybe you can rephrase the question on this one. I'm not sure if this is the same thing as the question that was just asked, but just on the vendor side. You do have the ability to change those on the vendor side as well. Are there any other questions out there? Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions or if you want me to go over these with you, you can always email me at eoldhaker@goism.com, or you can email Sherry and she can get us in touch.
Okay, thank you, Erin, very much. That was quick and to the point, so we do appreciate that. Again, everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can always reach us at AM for account management, am@goism.com with any questions. Our April schedule of Lunch and Learn should be going out by the end of the month, so keep an eye out for that. We'll have some great presentations for you next month. And we do still have another presentation coming up, which is going to be next Tuesday, I believe. So keep tuned for that, and have a great day, and have a great Easter weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, Brett, you just asked if there's a recording of the presentation. I have recorded it. It will take a couple days to compile it, but it will be up on our ISM YouTube channel. Please, everyone, we keep almost all of the webinars on the ISM YouTube channel. You can reach that by clicking on the icon, the YouTube icon on any of our signatures on any of our emails. If you need that address, please email me at am@goism.com. But Brett, this will probably be up by Monday, I would say. Okay? There are also other increase efficiency webinars out there by different presenters. Every one of our consultants tends to look at Sage 100 in a different manner, what their experience is working with customers. So please feel free to go out and take a look. Thanks, everyone.